Hi everyone, this is Dr. Essie Stacey, helping you to be well. Hi everyone, welcome to the patient journey, Tim, number 5. And today we're going to be seeing how he's getting on. We'll be looking at his glucose and ketones. We'll be looking at his cholesterol readings, so the HDL and the triglycerides. And also you're going to see me kind of changing it up a little bit and giving him some ideas about food ideas. So you'll see me and Hannah makes an appearance as well, making miso and noodle soup, and also some sort of chocolate desserts ideas for him. So let's crack on for the first clip. Okay, Tim. So how's it gone?
Yes, it's been okay. I think doing preparing the salad, the leek and tomato salad, and fermenting it, so you have a batch all the way through the week is good. And
so you managed to do that?
Yeah, so that was
Excellent.
Good. And from cycling the chicken and just having 1 or 2 pieces, that's been good. I haven't made any more fermented bread. I mean, I actually, the batch which I did make and all went wrong. Surprise.
What happened?
I didn't. Show my ignorance. I didn't realize you had to let it kind of like rest for 4 hours and kind of like and all that.
Because if you don't, because what's happening when you leave the ferment, so you've got the microbes with the flour.
Yeah.
The flour is their fuel.
Yeah.
And they produce CO2.
Okay.
Which causes the
thing to
stuff to rise. So, and also I think you used plain flour, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. But I was actually thinking, the meals which I've had this week, I felt that I haven't actually needed the extra bread.
That's pretty amazing.
So I've kind of parked the bread for one side, but I might change my mind. I think I've got some soup on the side downstairs, which I know I will need some bread if that's going to happen, but we'll see. So I think just having 2 pieces of chicken, has been a good amount, I think.
Excellent.
And I think Friday as usual was a bad day.
Why was it a bad day?
Because I'm on the go all the time. I'm coming in and going out and taking Hannah. I'm kind of doing a U-turn to go out to a singing lesson, and it's just, and I had a couple of pastries, as you do, but that got me through. But generally in the evening, I have been good, and I haven't really, although I ate quite late was it last night or the night before? No, I ate late on the Friday night. I mean, really, 7:30 late.
Mm-hmm. Late for you, yeah.
Late for me, so, but I still didn't eat anything extra after, my coffee, and then that's it. So
you've done really well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've ploughed through the rest of my bananas and apples at lunchtime. So now, like, when I went to Sainsbury's this week, I didn't buy any bananas, I didn't buy any apples. So I was like, ooh.
So what are you going to have?
I don't know. Either I'm going to have to power through, or,
What types of things do you like olives? Is that something that you like?
Actually, I'm not averse to olives.
Yeah, so you could have some olives.
Yeah.
Olives
that's a good idea.
Different sort of mix of olives.
Yeah.
Would be nice. And you can, with olives, you can buy a big load and
absolutely,
just take a few each time.
That way, yeah.
There's also stuff like biltong. Have you seen the biltong? Biltong's like I've got some actually. I'll go get some. biltong is a South African. It's a South African smoke dried meat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so try a little bit.
Okay.
And it's something that's quite easy to have, with your olives. Something you could go with, or
Yeah, it's doable.
Mm.
Looks a bit weird, but hey.
That's biltong.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an option.
So it's an option. So olives is the
easy,
easy one.
Yeah.
Also, even a bit of, fermented cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just small amounts, just to, put the appetite to bed, and if you need to, because you might find that you don't need to. Maybe try a couple of days without. How are you feeling sort of energy-wise? Because I remember you saying that you were concerned about the nap and everything and being tired.
Yeah, no, I haven't had any naps this week or the week before. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, which has been good considering it's been 2 weeks of school. And I think there are kind of moments in the afternoon where I think, oh, I could have a nap, I could easily. But then you kind of you've got stuff to do, so you just power through and then you forget about it. So it's quite, I don't know, it's a bit of a
But
weird
that's a huge change.
Yeah, considering literally, I think all last year it was 4 o'clock.
Wow. So you've got some significant changes there.
Yeah.
What do you think has been, what's the cause of that? What would you say?
I think, well, just the amount of, dare I say, crap, which, I usually eat, has substantially diminished.
Yes.
And, I'm sure, I think as you said, it's, the food which you have is nutritionally dense.
Yeah.
And I'm not just filling my stomach with,
Empty
carbs.
calories, yeah.
So, yeah, and it's just training yourself, to realign yourself, if want a better kind of picture.
And it sounds like you're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still partial, and I will probably, still have, if I see it come some pastries reduced, boom.
Well, give yourself time, isn't it? Give yourself time for that, because, in these last few weeks, you've managed to overcome some pretty hefty hurdles in terms of, not having those walnut whips and things.
Yeah, no, I mean, my flatmate still pilfers my cupboard, so she's enjoying the walnut whips and I'm just looking at them.
Great, that's huge.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good, and to realise that. Yeah, I think some evenings, I kind of have felt my hunger pangs, and you kind of grip the armchair and then think, no, I can get through this,
And you've been vlogging. Have you been managing to write anything down?
No, not the last 2 weeks, but I think what I've said on the vlogs have been I have felt hungry, and it's kind of, you kind of sense those alarm bells ringing, it's either now or never, and yet, I know the next day if I have gone to bed, on a hungry, I haven't been hungry, I wake up fine.
Yes, it's interesting that, isn't it? Because hunger there are several sort of facets to hunger. There is, yes, you're hungry, but in the kind of world that we live in now, where we don't do that much manual work or heavy exercise, and we eat calorie dense foods, we're usually not hungry for nutrition. We're usually hungry because the insulin levels have gone up and then come back down again. We're also hungry because of the hormones. You've got these hunger hormones that also kick in with the habit of eating as well. So it's usually those plus the emotions that make us have the sort of urge to eat.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of hunger, but it's also urge, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
what you're describing is that if you overcome that, then the body the next day, the body's feeling fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
And so the more you face that situation, face it down, really, then the more likely the body is to come into an even, more even. And you've been seeing Siggy for the massage?
Yes, been seeing her, which has been good. And then still, I mean, you've given me the fish oils as well, which has been good. And still doing kind of 2 5K runs a week, you know, which is good. And hopefully when the gym opens, I'll up my game there as well. So
and if the 5K runs, has it become easier, or
I think I mean,
enjoyable, dare I say?
Well, because I think I've been doing it now, I think for 5 weeks consistently, 2 times a week, which is I've never done that before. I'm beginning to see some payoff, in a sense of, I think my breathing is a bit better, and it's just my times are quicker this last week. So as I'm just not having to like lug this excess weight around. Which
do you feel like you've slimmed down?
Yeah, no, I have, because that's always a benefit. So yeah, no, they're still hard because running is never going to be my thing, but I take comfort in the fact that I'm consistently now quicker, and it's not the agony probably what it was 5 weeks ago.
Well done.
So yeah.
So time now for the blood test.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Okay, so if we deal with the ketones and the glucose first. So your ketone is 0.7.
Yeah.
And your glucose is 5.3. Now, this is, what time are we now? Sort of 4 o'clock? 5?
It's 5 o'clock,
And you haven't eaten?
I've had an apple.
What time was that? Or how many
12,
hours ago?
12.
So a good few hours ago. It's interesting. So if you had an apple, say 4 hours ago or something like that, the ketones is reasonable, 0.7.
What do you want them to be?
If you were fasting, if it was overnight, I'd want you to be around that level or towards the ones.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So that's not too bad. In general, most people are an overnight fast. They might be in the region of 0.4 ketones. So yours is higher than that, which is good.
Okay.
The glucose, however, it's a little bit sort of high, but then we probably would need to really compare it to an overnight fast one, because you had an apple which is kind of sugary. Do you remember what level we wanted the glucose to be at?
Around the 5, isn't it?
Around the 5 or under, just slightly under.
Yeah.
So that's okay, but I would say that apple is quite interesting because it shows that maybe had you had something like some protein or an olive, then the glucose might have been a bit lower than that, which is what you want to maintain, really.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it just gives us further ammo to say, look, switch that midday thing to something that doesn't put the glucose up. And then if we move on to the HDL and the triglyceride, so the HDL is 0.8 now, which is a bit lower than it was before. Can you remember what affects the HDL?
Isn't it fish oils, and it's exercise.
And exercise and good eggs.
And good eggs.
Good eggs, yeah. So eggs that have been out, from chickens that have been out pecking and they're happy, etc. But mainly fish oils and exercise. So it would say that, how much fish oils are you taking at the moment?
Well, I'm trying to do 2 a day. I think you said 4 a day. But sometimes I just forget.
So you definitely need to increase that. Okay. I would say 4 a day or more is what you're going to need, because it's less than it was before.
Okay.
Yeah. You could go to, of those capsules, 8 a day. Yeah. to get it in the right range, and then you'll be able to come down a little bit.
Okay.
So the triglyceride, can you remember what the triglyceride's about?
I can't, no.
Yeah, so it's a marker of inflammation, but it's also, even though it's measured in the cholesterol, it's a marker of carbs.
Okay.
So yours has come down a little bit. It was 1.33 and it's come down to 1.13. So that's good. So that's, and it could be not having so much fruit, have you reduced the puddings and stuff like that? What have you been doing with those?
The puddings, again, I've been...
The bread,
The bread, yeah, so I've had pretty much no bread this week.
Yeah.
But I still have had kind of, I don't want to say those light yogurts, or whatever they're called.
So what does it mean to have a light yogurt?
Well,
what is light yogurt?
Well, technically, they say it's no fat, but
So,
it's probably pumped full of sugar instead.
Yeah, so what's the benefit of having a low-fat yogurt? We could address that, couldn't we?
The benefit of having a low-fat yogurt, well, I imagine that the type of fat that was in a normal yogurt would be like bad fat.
What's bad fat?
I don't know.
So you need to do...
Well, there's good fat, I know, which is like
Right.
avocados. That's good fat.
Right, so that's kind of the omega-3, one of the omega-3 types of fats. What other good fats are there?
Surely something, I'm eating fish, there's got to be some fat in fish.
Yes, there's
little
again
bit.
fish oil.
Yeah, but no, I don't know anything else.
So you need to do the fats module on the website.
Okay.
It's really quite important, because the reason I asked you pulled that out was because when you're looking at low fat yogurt, the first thing you ask yourself is, well, what have they done to it? Surely the stuff that comes out of a grass-fed, a well-fed cow should be good.
Sure.
So why do they need to change it to suddenly make it good for you to eat? That's what you need to ask yourself.
Okay.
So unless there's some misinformation going on. So that's why I want you to go and do that module first, and then we can discuss it, because you're of the opinion that you need to eat low-fat yogurt, and
well,
I don't
I'm not
agree with that. But you need to know why I don't agree with that, rather than me telling you.
All right.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, low-fat, they're likely to have more sugars in, but also what they've done to the fat may create inflammation.
Yeah.
So that might be reflected in that triglyceride level, that inflammation that's created by changing the fat from what it's supposed to be to something else may create inflammation in your body, which may be...
And what's the optimum level the triglyceride should be at?
If you were looking at your GP, your primary care physician or your GP did these, they wouldn't be concerned about the triglyceride unless it was over 2 nanomoles per litre, talking about UK numbers. But what I see is that the healthiest people have a triglyceride under 1.
Really?
Yeah. So it still says to me that maybe, you've got some of these sugars, or the apple, the breads, etc. But like you say, it's also shown that it's gone down when you haven't had so much of that. So it might be interesting to see that if you switch out the apple for the olives, and carry on the good stuff that you've been doing, whether that in a couple of weeks' time, whether that will have gone down. Yeah. So a little bit of work to be done in terms of the HDL.
So I need to up my
your fish oil.
fish oils.
Yeah. And then I think that triglyceride might change if you take out the fruit from midday and switch it for something else.
Yeah.
Because also the fruit is what's likely to be making your insulin go up and then come down and make you feel hungry. Whereas if you put something that is less likely to cause those swings, you might have a smoother time of it in the evening.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Great. Let me just switch cameras here. That's better. So yeah, he did all right, didn't he? So just looking at some of the positives there. So the naps, he's managed to get rid of the nap. So basically he's got more energy, where's that energy coming from? It's basically coming from intermittent fasting. And why is that important? Intermittent fasting gives you ketones. Ketones help to lower inflammation. They help the mitochondria recover better. So he's got more energy from tweaking the diet a little bit. He's having those. I think he changed the fruit. Remember, he said he changed the fruit once he'd eaten up his bananas and stuff. And so that's that's a positive point. We're looking at the ketone levels. Now, if you need to know more of this in depth, then have a look at the module on my website, which is Sugars and Fasting. It goes through what happens with the mitochondria, what is intermittent fasting, what are the ideal ketone levels, etc. And your ideal ketone levels actually are going to depend on what you're focusing on. So for Tim right now, he's trying to lose a little bit of weight as well. So we want the ketones to be slightly higher. If you're just maintaining weight, etc., then those ketones can come down a little bit. But there may be periods of the day where you want some ketosis, because ketosis is reduces inflammation. It helps the mitochondria to recover. So it kind of depends on what you're needing it for. What else do we look at? Quite interesting about his metabolic sensitivity. It looked like the apple that he was having was putting the glucose up to 5.3. So that's why the finger prick tests are really quite useful. They don't lie. So when I'm with my patients and I'm trying to help them to understand the effect of food on their metabolism, the glucose, etc., then they don't lie. It's really useful to look at that correlation and then tweak the diet accordingly. So that glucose, it's not dangerous at that level, but what you tend to see is that over time it will creep up and up and up. The weight goes up, inflammation goes up, disease goes up. So what we're doing is trying to keep Tim looking handsome and healthy for many, many, many years to come. We're looking at fats again, the HDL, and I think once he gets to grips with that HDL and the fish oils, you'll see it turn around pretty quickly. There's no need to be on cholesterol lowering drugs for years and years and years if you can get a grasp of what the HDL is all about. And the triglycerides, we're making strides with that, and my aim would be to get it below 1, and then I'd be happy that his inflammation levels were good. Okay, so let's go on and see what's next.
So this is what I made earlier, and it's leeks, it's tomatoes, it's peppers, and I drenched it this time in kombucha. It's swirling around there, and I've added some, again, extra virgin olive oil and some pepper, because I just realised I needed more kombucha than what I've been putting in to make it more tasty, basically.
Fab. So is that going to last you for the week?
Yeah, I eke it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, portion control.
Great. So you could put that in a jar, couldn't you?
Yeah, no, I could.
Yeah, and that would keep it, you from having to put plates over it or cling film and things like that, and then you could just spoon
That's
some.
a good idea. Yeah.
Spoon some out. Yeah, great. So what I wanted to do, looking at your vlog things. So what I wanted to do, looking at your vlog, is to change up a little bit what you are eating.
Tuesday, no guesses what I'm having. Some more chicken. If I like it, I like it. Yeah, sure.
Because it's great. I'm just loving the chicken.
The chicken's a huge success.
I'm loving your ferment. You've even got that coconut cream.
Yeah, coconut cream, and I have fermented my bacon as well, so that's been good.
So good. So I want to, and you've had a few sort of lapses, haven't you, this week?
This week, yeah, it's been a bumpy road. Okay, so this evening I am vlogging in Queen's Park while watching some martial arts. So, today has wasn't interesting. I kind of like powered through, got back home, had my olives and figs, and then I just thought I'd have a nap. So I just was tired basically, and I think I take comfort from what our head said, and said we in the 3-week blues of the new academic year. So yeah, maybe that was my excuse for just laying down. Anyway, I got up about 3:30 in the afternoon, and then, yep, sure enough, I headed for the biscuits. And of course, with me, it's not just one biscuit; it's a whole pack gone within like 10 minutes. So that wasn't great. And then I had my meal, as you saw, and yeah, I'm truly stuffed. So I suppose it was bound to happen at some point. Surprised, I suppose, that it happened after a nap, but maybe not. But that is the Tuesday of it all. Okay, over and out. But then it is the National Day of Forgiveness, apparently. So
Today.
I am forgiving myself.
Good. And what I want to do is just to bring some variety for you. And so I thought what we could do, see the chocolate here, is make some chocolate kind of mousse that you can either have cold
Go as liquid in.
or baked. And it's fermented. So actively good for you. So I thought that. And also I thought, because you said you like seaweed, and I thought we could make a seaweed.
Yeah, because we had that on Monday. I had that seaweed soup, which you gave me, which was really good. And seaweed, it's
and that is so easy. So we've got our able assistant. And all we're doing for that, have you got the dry seaweed somewhere? Great. So isn't it amazing how he's transformed himself into making these fermented salads? And I think that is amazing. And he's liking them, and he's doing it with ease. So I think we've transformed that part of him. So it's fantastic. So let's move on and see what modifications we make. So the bare bones for the seaweed soup is dried seaweed and miso. Really, that is it. You can get away with just that. You could put in some bit of bacon to flavour it up, or some other vegetables if you've got them. But that is the bare bones of it. But what I'm going to do is to suggest a few more Japanese things. One's tofu. And the other one is this kind of a low-calorie carb. It's Konjac noodles. Tastes delish.
Okay.
And
Konjac,
good in terms of
liqueur.
Not the liqueur. Yeah, I think it's Konjac, Japanese. So we're going to do that as well. But first of all, we're going to do this mousse, and it's the easiest mousse you'll ever make. The hardest bit is to melt the chocolate. So this we're going to do in something called a bain-marie, which is a bowl of hot water and the chocolate melts in a bowl sitting over the hot water.
Okay. Smaller chunks, or is that okay?
As small as possible because it goes quicker if they're smaller. Yeah, that'll do.
Okay.
And then plonk that on top. And then we wait.
And leave it.
Leave it.
for it to melt. Now we need 6 eggs. So we need 6 eggs beaten up. Hannah, you going to come and do some of these eggs?
Do you want to help them beat them up for me?
Yeah, a bit of what?
The eggs.
Yeah.
Get the whisk, Hannah.
Get the whisk.
Okay, you do that as well then.
Oops. Bit of. Is that bad news?
No, we'll just take it out again. That's fine.
I think Nigella's is okay.
more calcium. So the eggs that are yellow tend to be
like
healthier.
egg yolk.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
We did
Egg
last
white.
week.
because they've been out, the chickens have been out pecking in the sun, pecking worms. They are carnivores, they don't just eat grains.
It does say free range here.
Yeah, free range. Well, what you really want is free to range outside, number one, and you also want them being able to do their normal activities, which is pecking, so pecking for worms. And so that difference there is interesting. Having said that, some unscrupulous producers now are giving
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yellow dyed this and that to their
Oh, really?
to make the eggs yellow. So just be careful of that. So best thing is to buy locally if you can, farmers market, so that you know what they're doing with their chickens.
Do we need any milk?
So you can add milk. It's a good question. You can either add milk or some of your kefir. Have you got some kefir?
Yeah.
Or kombucha. So we need a ferment, any type of ferment.
Wow.
But if you're thinking you want it creamier, then you're going to add either milk or something fermented like your kefir, your fermented milk. So what have you got?
Well, okay, I hesitate to. I've got this.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So give it a stir and then
Okay.
we'll add some of that.
It's been languishing in my fridge for
Oh,
a long
that's
time.
so good. And that is cow's milk kefir, is it?
Yeah, and it smells like cow's milk.
Yeah, good. So you probably only need about, I would say, a dessert spoon
Really?
of that. Yeah. It depends on how milky you want. So the chocolate is sort of 70%, is it? Yeah.
It's 85%.
85%. So it's going to be quite tart, and if that's old as well, that'll be quite tart. So what we can do is, Hannah, bring your bowl closer. Let Uncle Tim add some of that. That's it. Yeah, that'll do.
Really? That's just teeny
That'll do.
tiny.
Yeah, that teeny
Yeah.
tiny.
Enough.
And so
No.
you can either, to
No
make it creamier, you can add some more milk, just plain milk. Or
Well, would you
coconut
recommend it, or is it? Do you think
milk.
I
Up
need
to
to?
you. Do you what type of
I do like creamy stuff.
you like it creamier? So add some milk.
Okay.
Like marshmallows.
You could ask marshmallows, Hannah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Like.
And you could also add some. I would add full. Have you got full fat milk?
No, I've only got organic semi.
So here's the thing.
Going semi. No.
The organic doesn't cut it for me when it comes to. I like full fat milk, and because they've taken all the fat out, it's the fat that's the good stuff for you.
But it's organic.
Oh, and so what does that mean? Tell me what it means to be organic.
Because the cows have eaten grass freely.
That doesn't mean that. No, if it was grass fed, it would say grass fed.
Okay.
I hesitate to say it's a bit of a gimmick. Yes, now you need to watch my facts module. I've told you before.
I
Watch
started
the facts
watching it,
module.
yeah.
Because then you wouldn't be going for semi-skim. The fat is what your neurons need.
I mean, I started having full fat kind of milk, but then I just found it was so fat,
That what?
that it was it went off quite quickly. I found, it was like, and it was like off before its sell by date, and I was getting a bit suspicious.
Well, isn't that because it's fermenting?
Is that right?
Yeah, and something that it's a bit like the McDonald's burger that never, you go back 5 years later, nothing's happened to it. That's because it's not alive. It's not living and it's plastic and it's toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, living things do interact with their environment. Okay. So the best thing to do probably would to find some raw organic milk, so not been fed pesticides, and grass fed. From a grass account, but we can talk about it another time. But anyway, we will. I hesitate to use it because you might actually kill off your.
Okay, well, let's not. Because it's good for me then just to not always succumb to my creamy.
So what you could do is add some sugar to that.
Okay.
Any sugar, because that's going to this is going to ferment over a week, right? So as the week goes on, it's going to get tartar and tartar. So what we want really is for it to start off, number one, quite sweet, but actually have some sugar to feed the ferment.
This is a sugar-free kitchen.
Sugar-free kitchen, nothing.
I don't know, probably not. I probably, Nicolette's probably, aha. I see, I lie.
We got some. Okay, so let's put some of that in. Yeah.
Nice, big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, that's good. And you could put more in if you, particularly if you're giving it to kids or someone that has.
I won't be giving this to anybody.
It's all yours.
No, sorry. I got to prioritise.
Not even Hannah. Are you having any, Hannah?
Of course.
Of
I
course.
can.
Okay.
Of course.
Can.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Stop doing.
Okay, yeah,
Stop.
stop.
Stir it a
So
bit
cute.
or not?
Yeah, give it a stir.
And that means I can lick the spoon.
Oh, yes.
No. It's gross.
No. It's what? It's my childhood.
It's gross.
Is that all melted?
No, it's all built. It's getting there, but.
So what I would do is turn the heat off now.
Oh, okay.
Because one of the things that is important also is that when we start combining it with the eggs, that it's cooled down a little bit. Otherwise, what happens to the egg? You get scrambled egg.
Oh, yeah.
Scrambled
Okay.
egg.
Because of the heat from the chocolate. So you want it to start cooling down a little bit.
Yeah, well, cooking is all about timing. That's a pearl of wisdom, and it's free.
All about timing.
Yeah, it's practically, it is done.
Great. So take
Need to-
that off there.
Is it hot?
No, it's doable. You can move it.
Oh, I don't know.
Fab.
Fabulous.
And then we'll let that cool down just for maybe 5-10 minutes.
No.
It's a little treat in the afternoon to get me through to my evening meal. Ooh.
Hold
That-
on.
that-
So just stick your finger in. Is it cooled down enough? Hannah, are you going to test it? Is it cooled down enough? Okay, so what you're going to do is, and you're going to do this little by little. You don't need that. You need a spatula actually, or a spoon.
A
Wooden one. No, wooden one. Yeah. So first of all, you add a tiny bit into the egg.
Like that?
Yeah. And then you mix it round. And the reason you do it slowly like this is because you don't want the egg to curdle. Now if it's cooled down enough, it's still warmish but not too warm. So then you just start to add the chocolate. Just after you've done that, you can add it slowly. Yeah. Wonderful.
Jamie Oliver, eat your heart out.
Oh, come on. Yeah. And if you like, you can then just switch over so you add that to the bowl so you get all that chocolate out.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
alright, okay.
Yeah, you just switch it
Yeah,
for now.
alright.
That's fine.
Just, Don't waste any.
Great. And then you're just going to just mix that in.
So, what consistency am I aiming for here? Quite.
So now you're not really aiming for any consistency. What will happen is this is really a cheat chocolate mousse, because the real chocolate mousse, you separate the eggs and you beat the egg whites and so that you're going to get this fluffiness going on. But because we're adding a ferment, we don't need to do that. And so you're going to leave this now just to sit for maybe a few hours.
Oh, really?
And it should thicken itself up by itself. And as it's doing that, it's fermenting. So it's breaking down the chocolate, breaking it all down, making more microbes, because you've added a mixture of bacteria and yeast in your kefir. That'll start, and you can see it already, the bubbles. If you stop stirring, you're going to start seeing bubbles appearing, and that is the fermentation process happening. So what we'll do is we'll leave that for a bit, and we'll see what happens to it. Okay, so let's have a look how. So that's probably what, half an hour, and it's getting thicker, but we could speed it up a bit. And what I find is kombucha does that. So if you just add a slurp of that, yeah, a bit more. That's it. And then what you can do with that is put it in the fridge, and then each day have a little bit as your dessert, and that'll be a chocolate mousse.
Do I need to stir it? Or
Yeah,
not?
yeah, stir it. Yeah, can you see it's
Yeah.
so give it a good stir around, proper mix. That's it. Fabulous. And so what I want to show you also to change it up if you want to, is to make a quick, in France it's called moelle, it's a fondant. And so what you do for that is you're gonna put some in your bowl. Enough for sort of one helping. Well, however much is one helping for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'll do. And then what we're going to add to that is because with the fondant you want the middle to be soft and the other bits to be a bit harder.
Yeah.
So we're going to add just maybe 2 teaspoons of flour to it.
Okay.
A little bit of gluten-free flour.
Sort of flat. Like that.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Just a little bit of the harder carb stuff. That's it. And then
Mix that in.
yeah, mix that in. Make sure it's all mixed in. So you see how it's thickened it up a little bit, and then you can put it in your little oven-proof dish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you just pour it into that one. We could have done it all in the dish actually, but that's fine.
Okay.
Great, and it's so quick. You put it on 200 degrees and for about 10 minutes,
Okay.
maybe 12 minutes. Let's say 200 degrees, 12 minutes. Tastes good?
Where's chocolate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can have that once you've done your chicken.
Yeah. Okay.
So literally,
And this goes in the fridge.
and that goes in the fridge. Take the spoon out, and then each day you can spoon some out.
Portion.
Yeah, have a portion. You can either have it cold as a chocolate mousse or make it into your fondant. Now, when you're from today or from tomorrow or the day after, this mixture will be thicker. So you won't need to add the flour before you bake it. Yeah? Try not to eat it all at once.
Okay. Here it goes.
Great. So he's learning, isn't he? He's learning with the chocolate mousse there, and it's kind of a chocolate mousse. It's a cheat chocolate mousse, as I said. Normally you would separate the yolks and the whites, and you whisk up the whites and then fold it all back in again. But I thought that was going to be a step too far, and also it will begin to ferment with the ferment. So kombucha, I find, and my powders ferment blend are the best things to get it to ferment. But you know, Tim just loves chocolate, so it didn't really matter how it was presented. But that also, that cheats way to make the fermented fondant is amazing. So you just put it on a high heat, like 200 for 10 minutes. And then it comes out, and the flour has all crisped up around the sides, but the chocolate in the middle is still soft and gooey. But anyway, you've got chocolate mousse, fermented chocolate mousse recipes on my website, It's affordable subscription, and you get all the modules, not just individual modules. You get all of them, which is really important if you're looking to getting your health back in line again. Just a couple of things that I said. I said about the sugar, and it seemed to be that I was saying, look, if it's for kids, put sugar in it. But what I meant actually was that if you're presenting fermented foods to children or anyone, in fact, for the very first time, then what I find is that fermented food has to be really, really good. It has to be top notch, and usually with a bit of sugar in. Once you get used to fermented food, you get used to the sour taste, and you don't really need that much sugar. But also the sugar isn't so bad, particularly if you use cane sugar. Raw cane sugar has minerals in it, really good stuff, which is enhanced as it's fermented. But then as the ferment goes, that sugar decreases and becomes more and more tart. So one of the points was that you put the sugar in at the beginning of the week in chocolate mousse, and by the end of the week, all gone, and it's really quite tart and really quite rich and texturized. So do give that a go. And also, when you're first adding the chocolate, the warm, cooled down but maybe still a little bit warm chocolate to the egg, you've got to be careful. I think I said curdle. What I meant was that you want to be careful that you don't actually cook the egg. So you just make sure it's cooled down enough. Anyway, let's move on to the miso. Yes, so let's put that seaweed in first. So just stick your hands in, and let's have a look how much is on your hands, because it's really interesting to see how much it expands. Yeah, good. Stick that in.
Little worms.
Yeah. And if you're making it for the week, maybe put double that amount. Yeah, good. And then let's have the miso. And we could start with maybe 2 teaspoons of miso. You might need more.
Can you get? Oh, do you have to go to Canteen to get this?
You can. That's available most places. Supermarkets and things.
Okay, so two teaspoons.
Yeah, I mean 1 or 2 will do. Yeah. Normally, you're not going to boil this too heavily, because the miso is living. It's got microbes in it.
So this will last quite a long time.
Oh yeah, that will last a long time. So you don't want to have it on a high heat. You want to have it on a lowish heat. Okay. Yeah, and then you just let it. Really, with this soup, you mix that miso in.
And dry.
And you're done. Mix it in so it's not big chunks.
Do you store the miso in the fridge?
You can put it in the fridge, yeah. So get a wooden spoon to mix that around, if you've got one.
Wooden.
Yeah, well, totally equipped in this kitchen.
Do you see how much that seaweed does?
Yeah, no, it really has expanded, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you can add a bit of meat to that if you want. You can add a bit of, chopped carrot.
And this will, I suppose, it's about 2 portions.
Yeah,
a bit more.
but you can put more water in it, and leave it to sit. Bones, you can put chicken bones in there as well. So now if you shredded your chicken, and you could sacrifice one and put it in the soup.
It's a big ask.
But you're going to eat it as it goes. But actually, if you're cooking it nice and slowly over a number of hours, you get all the lovely stuff that comes out of the bone. Okay. Same with if you've got some fish, stick some fish in. We could put fish flakes in.
I've got some salmon.
Yeah, you could do that as well. Have a taste. See what it tastes like.
Yeah, it's very much like going to Yo Sushi and having their kind of, starter, kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Cool.
So we can open the noodles and drain those, and open the tofu and just cut some of that to add to it at the end. Okay. So let's see what it comes like. It comes almost already done, the konjac. You don't have to do anything to it other than drain it and add it to your soup.
So I need a colander or whatever.
Oh no, you don't even need a colander. Just cut it, open it, and then drain it.
That's all I had to do.
That's all we have to do. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So just drain that out. Yep.
Is that just water I take?
Yeah, it's just the water they cooked it in. And then add that, open it up completely, and add it to your soup. Great. Did it taste salty?
Yeah, a little bit,
so you don't
yeah.
need to add any more salt. You can add pepper if you want to sort of spice it up a bit. But not necessary if you don't want to. You just, yeah.
Rosemary.
Rosemary, yeah, we could add that, couldn't we?
Oh, from our organic garden.
No, we didn't even go in the garden.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's because it's cooked. You don't really. All you're needing to do is to heat it up.
Oh, okay.
So you
fine.
could.
So that will keep then. I can just put
Yeah.
a top over, whatever lid over it, and then that will be. I can
Yeah.
do it tomorrow.
And you could just heat it up tomorrow. So tofu, you're going to need to use a knife because it's not easy. Yeah, and then you could just you just take a slither off, and you can stick that.
Put it in the soup.
I would put it in your bowl. Put it in your bowl when you're drinking the soup. So you could leave it there for now, or put it in a plate and add it after. Otherwise, it will go lumpy in there.
And is tofu good for you?
Tofu is, you know what it is?
No.
So tofu
It's a substitute, isn't it, or something?
No,
like
it's not. It's soybeans. It's made from soybeans. This is a Japanese meal
okay.
made from soybeans. Now, what I would do, because the soybeans are not fermented in tofu, but there is an alternative dish that the Japanese make where they would add shoikuji to that, and over a few days, it begins to taste like cheese.
Okay.
So you could do that with this. And then what I would recommend is take it out of the plastic, put it in a dish, and squirt of shoikuji
over it.
Yeah, and over the few days with your salads, etc., you just take some of that out, and it is a delicious cheese-tasting substitute.
Okay.
You know, so maybe we'll Hannah, get a bowl, darling.
Yeah, I'll get a bowl.
And let's do that.
Can you just clarify as well?
Yeah.
Is soykoji good bacteria which brings out the taste in meat, or just clarify, because I was trying to explain and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's not bacteria. In fact, it's yeast. It's a rice yeast.
It's a rice yeast.
Yeah. It's actually made from a single yeast, and I think it's called Aspergillus or orzai or something like that. So it's a yeast, not a bacteria. But yes, it does. It brings out the umami, the taste in the meat. It does. That's just one of the things it does. But it also breaks down the proteins in the meat, and in any. So, for example, this is soy. It's going to help to break it down, which means it's going to be easier for your body to digest.
Okay.
It also helps to break down toxins, which is the most, I think, is one of the most important things. So what we're doing here is converting soy, which can be difficult to digest if you've got gut issues, to a partially broken down soy. But what the yeast does is it encourages bacteria to grow as well. So this is the interesting thing, is you're putting yeast on there, but it actually encourages different bugs.
Healthy bugs.
Healthy bugs, definitely healthy bugs. This is all a healthy bug exercise. So we're just talking about what to do with the mushrooms as well, and how we shoikuji those. So let's, if you break them up by hand and put them in another bowl.
Okay. Break them up by hand?
Yeah, Hannah, come and help. So you're just gonna
break them up.
break them up into small bits.
Yeah, can you do that for me?
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's it. Split them up. So when you're doing your batch of vegetables, you can do some shoikoji mushrooms as well. They do get quite fermented, so if you leave it a whole week, then you'll notice a massive difference in the taste. But a day, 2 days per batch is okay. And you'll find, do you fry them normally?
Yeah,
you'll find
coconut
No,
oil.
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Difference in taste. So you need some shoikoji and olive oil. Yeah, that'll do. Mix that in.
With my hand?
Yeah, but actually put some olive oil on first.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. And you can put herbs, salt and pepper, mixed herbs if you want.
Enough?
And a bit more. A bit more. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do, salt and pepper. Look at you now.
No, look at your businesses.
You're doing it well.
Businesses.
Salt. Great, and then just mix that in.
Okay.
Great, and then you're just going to leave that out, and when you're ready, leave it out for minimum, I would say half an hour.
Yeah.
But maximum, you can just keep going, you know. And again, you could do a huge batch at the beginning of the week and put it in the fridge.
And still fry it, basically.
And still fry it when you fry the batches, when you need it. So it's great. Mushrooms. Great. So I've given Tim a very simple, miso soup is so simple. And so you're getting the seaweed, which is kind of like a medicine all by itself. And you can put different types of seaweed in there. That one is called wakame. I'll see if I can spell that up here somewhere. Wakame seaweed. But there's a whole load of different varieties, and you get them dried from the Japanese shop or online, and they go a long way. So you've got that. You've got the miso ferment, and the tofu. Tofu's the soybeans, which are not fermented, but my friend Yasko showed me that you can ferment the tofu with the shoikoji, and it becomes like a cheese. And what I realized is that you kind of need the softer tofu, not the firm tofu. And there are different types of tofu, so you know, play around. But it is this delicious cheese tasting soya product. Really good. So, you know, there's a difference between fermented soy, non-fermented soy. Non-fermented soy can be difficult for people to digest, can create inflammation because of the anti-nutrients that can be harmful to the gut, particularly if you've already got issues with your gut, and it can affect your thyroid also. But fermented soy products are really good for your health. And take a look on my website. I've got a whole module on vitamin K2 and where that comes from, and that's from a fermented soy. It's called natto. So let me put that on there as well. Natto there. That's you know, so good stuff. What else? I said that aspergillus. I said that the shoikoji. Let me write that on there. The shoikoji, that's the rice ferment. I said that was a yeast. And actually, if I'm being picky with myself, it's actually a mold. What's the difference? They're both fungi, but actually, if you're being picky, then it's the mold. It's the furry stuff. That's a mold, but it's a good mold, and it doesn't produce mold toxins, the mycotoxins that make us sick. So that's an important one. Take a look at the webinar that I have on my website, which where I go through Pork Island. Pork Island is Okinawa in Japan, where you've got some of the most long-lived individuals in the world, and they eat a lot of pork. But I show in that video, actually, it's also to do with the seaweed as well. So take a look at that. You'll get that via my website as well, dressie.com. Okay, so last bit, let's have a brief look at the taste test. Okay, so you've got your soup.
Got my soup with my fermented tofu. Got my fermented mushrooms and my soykoji mushrooms and my soykoji
Look
chicken
at that.
and my soykoji.
Go on then, tuck in, let's see.
Should I start off with that? Very sushi.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's just like sushi.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Something you could go for?
Could do, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so these noodles, Konjac noodles, are low calorie, fibrous, good for your large intestine. So great. Enjoy.
They feel low calorie.
Yeah. But they're filling, and then you've got your chicken, and you're just doing so well. I'm gonna have a mushroom and tell me what that's like compared to what you would normally have.
Yeah, no, it is tastier. It is. You can just bring out. Mushrooms are nice, but even I can taste the difference.
Yeah, fantastic. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy. I'm looking at the size of the chicken, and I do think they're big. So I think you need to tell me how you feel afterwards and whether you're completely stuffed. Because I reckon you could get away with just one of those chickens.
Even if it's just for 1 meal, this is my 1 meal a day.
Even for your 1 meal a day, yeah. Because you've got some protein in your tofu there. You're gonna you'll have some. If you're having yogurt on a regular basis, you'll have protein, and yeah, they look like big pieces. I think you've got 50 grams of protein or something like that.
Okay. I'll let you know if I'm kind of totally stuffed.
Yeah. Let me know how you. And then you've got your. You put your thing in the oven, didn't you? Let's see. Yeah. And how many minutes has it got left?
I would say about 5.
Great. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, go on then. Have a look at the consistency. Maybe in there a bit too long. It's supposed to be soft in the middle, but what do you think?
It's nice. It's chocolatey, but I feel I would need some ice cream with it. So cards on the table. Because I suppose it seems maybe I left it in there too long.
Yeah. Did you leave it in longer than 10 minutes?
Well, I didn't think so. I was like pretty.
Because normally it should be a little bit softer.
I mean, it is. I mean,
it should be gooey though. Still.
It's not gooey.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a bit. I left it in there too long.
Yeah, I think just so, because it's still, you still got a nice sponge there.
Yeah, I mean, it's still doable, but I would just need a little bit, like,
Why not put some of the cold stuff with it?
Which cold stuff is that?
The mousse.
Oh, the mousse.
Yeah.
Okay. Top that up.
Just add a little bit of that.
Just a little bit.
To give it the...
Just soup salt.
Let's see if that tastes any better. Yeah.
That really helps.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just.
So maybe in your oven you need it 8 minutes. Yeah. Great. Good. Is that one that, you know, it's doable for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is that, you know, feel a little bit triggered.
Yeah, that's,
you know, just to get me through this.
It's fermented.
It's fermented, it's okay. It's okay.
You didn't put too much sugar in. So, and then, so you can choose then tomorrow whether you have it cold, hot, or half and half.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Pleasure. Great. So, that was it, the taste test. And it's a couple of things I wanted to mention there was I pointed out that he was having, it looked like he's eating a lot of protein. And again, in the webinar, the Pork Island one about Okinawa, we look at that. How much protein do you need? And there is, we tend to, in the athletic field, we tend to do the calculation of 1 gram per kilo per individual. So, you know, if Tim was wanting to be around 80 kilos or something like that, then if he's aiming to be around that's the amount of, he's going to need 80 grams of protein, roughly around that. And, you know, an average sort of chicken wing kind of thing, thigh, sorry, is going to be around 45. So, and that was a huge one. He had 2 huge ones there. So I'm sure that he was in the 100 range there, plus the eggs in the, you know, in the chocolate mousse, plus the milk, plus the, you know, the tofu. You're kind of putting your levels up. And so, yeah, take a look at the Okinawa webinar. It's a great one, actually, because it does the study that I pull out there shows you what happens when they go above that, the 1 gram per kilo type thing. So do look at that. And the mousses, hope you enjoyed that. I got the idea for those mousses from some very special patients of mine, and you know who you are. So thank you for that. So just, you know, either you're going to make it as a mousse, or as they did for me, they brought me some food gifts with it baked. And you know, you can either have it as a cakey thing like Tim had there, but he felt he needed something else on top of that, or you do it sort of the moelle fondant way, where you add a little bit of flour and then you put it at a high heat for 10 minutes or so, and then the middle stays soft. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that rendition of Patient Journey for Tim. Join me for the next one, which will be out shortly. Okay, everyone, bye. That's it for now, everyone. Remember, change starts with you. Be well.